Why should we?
Because what he has to say is of eternal value.
Eternal value.
Yes, your very souls depends on these next few words.
Our souls? You fanatic, we don't have any.
Jesus died to save you from your sins. He created you, and he loves you, and he wants...
Enough!
That was probably the hardest part, I'd have to say.
My worst experience was probably my stunt when I rolled down the hill after being tackled. I hurt myself a little bit on one of the rolls because I landed hard on my shoulder. I'm not a stunt person, so it's my own fault, but that was probably the only time it really didn't go awesome.
The hardest scene for me was probably the last one, when I am in Canada and I surprisingly meet Mikhail Renlov. I don't know, it just, to me, the emotion wasn't coming that day. I felt kind of dead. I felt like I was kind of lacking. I mean, everybody else just said it was fine, but I personally had a really hard time trying to draw up the emotion of thinking, this is the man who killed one of my brothers, or maybe both, 2 years ago. You know? That's a difficult thing to bring up, and I don't think I did it very well.
The most challenging part of making the movie for me, that's a hard one. I was really enjoying the whole process. But I guess it was not knowing how the acting was looking on the camera and having to act on it, because I'm very self-conscious all the time. So, and I want everything to be excellent all the time. It has to be perfect in order to be distributed and for other people to see it. Emma and Isaac were very gracious in letting me see the footage almost after every shot. So, that really helped to calm my fears.
Oh, well, that goes without saying. The hardest part for me in the film was when I did the stunt falling into the river. That was intense, I have to admit. It was originally just an idea we toyed with, but then as it went on, we started liking the idea, and then we found a perfect place, we scouted it out, and then we did the stunt there. It was, the water, it's just before, I think it was filmed in October, so it was very, very cold, that water. And I scraped my knee up a bit, but the worst part of it was the shock. I just hope that I don't have any permanent side effects, but the whole stunt went off very well. I wasn't hurt extensively, but that was probably the hardest thing to do. It was also the funnest.
The hardest scene for me to shoot, sort of like, I don't know, not so much acting-wise, but shooting it, was the jumping off the rock scene. We did that shot. It was like just used a little bit, like a couple shots of it in the beginning, and we took about 10 or 15 takes of it, just different shots, and we ended up only using 2. So it was actually, it was funny to laugh at, but at the time we spent like half of our filming day on it.
Jason and I are tired. We just got done doing the same stunt 10 times. Now we are about ready for some snack.
Well, since I did most of the editing, eventually I almost got sick of my own movie because, you know, you do the same thing over and over and over again. You watch it a million times. But it really added new definition to me to have the music. I was very much impressed by Daniel's music, and I think that it helped to bring a new tone to the video, which I am quite impressed with, actually. And I have to say that my actors, I mean, wow. For not being professionals, they did really well, and I am really happy with how they did. I don't know about me, but I'm happy with them.
I'm very pleased with it. Since I am a director, I like to watch over films quite a bit and to check them and see if I can do something better for the next film that I do. Overall, I think it was a good film, and I'm very happy with how the cinematography turned out. The story was amazing, you know. Emma's very talented at that, and I think the story made the whole thing work.
The final product was actually very well done. I thought it was very cool. The real stuff they say in films is the editing, so that's done very well. At the overall product of the film, I thought it was done very well. I was actually quite happy with the way it turned out. Yeah, because I was kind of a little skeptic about whether my acting would be good or not, but turned out it wasn't actually half bad. So I'm hoping that this film will be able to be used across the world in different places, and I hope that it can reach the lives of other people and teach them of how some Christians gave everything, in fact their lives as well, to follow what is true and right. I think it's a good film with a good message, and one that everyone should share for years to come.
Well, what did I think of the finished product of Precious? Wow, it was very well done. It had the elements of a good story, good cinematography, good music. It was really good, shot on a shoestring budget, It was amazing. It was well edited. The color correction was nice. It was a very, very special film. I don't know, it just had a real good, genuine feel about it, for a film of 14 minutes. It was really well done. Very, very creative. It hit its mark with the message that the writer was trying to sell to the audience. It was very, very powerful.
Oh, my brother, my sister, that is your faith? Why is it now? After our imprisonment, our beatings, our illnesses, our family members' death, that we lose heart? Hasn't God kept us alive through all that we've endured?
But Stefan,
Wasn't Christ beaten? The very flesh was torn from his back.
I cracked up the whole way through it the first time I watched it, because I'm just like that when I watch things that I've participated in, because I know what happened, I know the behind the scenes. But as far as the actual product itself, I think it was really well done. The coloring was good, the cuts were good, and the action scenes, just the way it flowed was really natural.
I thought it was very good. I think it was very commending to all the work that was put into it, and I don't think we could have pulled it off any better than we did. So I think God was really behind it. It turned out very well. There was a lot of challenges. There were a lot of good things. A few bad moments. I was very pleased with the way it turned out, and my only hope and prayer would be that it would be a good witness to other people. I mean, to me, it's just it seems like a fun project, but deep down, and I think eventually it will show to be a great tool that God can use, and if you can save one soul, then it's always worth it. And so I thank God I was able to be involved in it, and praise be to Him. It was a great experience.
When I first saw the movie, well, I was surprised because I went in with low expectations, I guess, and it was better than I thought it would be. The audio was good. Overall, the flow of it, the action, the acting, it was all better than I thought it would be, and, that put a smile on my face, I gotta say. The script, Emma kept it very dynamic, and we were all giving tips and putting little spins on it and changing things here and there. That was a really good thing because it evolved during that process. And obviously Emma's starting script was even really good. It's really blatant, and I like that because the Christian entertainment sector, as we might call it, doesn't have a lot of blatant messages, and so it's a refreshing take, and I like that.
I'd say the funniest part was probably when our writer and one of our head actresses, I should say, in fact our only one, Emma Broyne, actually in the scene where she sees me on the ground, I tell her to run, and she turns to head into the bush. She lost her shoe in the muck, and I thought that was quite funny at the time. In fact, I still think it is today, because just to hear a scream, "I lost my shoe," that was kind of funny. But I'm sure she now that I look back on it, I'm sure we'd all laugh at that. But at the time, she wasn't too happy about it.
Well, not really a dislike, so much as, if you were to rephrase the question as the hardest part, I'd say the hardest part was the accents, because we all discovered, and we were always mentioned when we went over our accents, that it seems like when you learn one, it tends to sound like all of the accents just put together or all very similar. And We pulled off as best a job as we could. We all kind of struggled there, I think. Or at least I did. I like to say everybody else did.
As the executive producer for the film Precious, my hopes for this film are that it will impact the lives of the lost, that they might come to know Christ, to encourage believers to trust the Lord no matter how difficult life gets, that they'll trust the Lord through difficult circumstances. They'll trust Him and His Word. And the other goal in the film, too, is that we will continue to make good quality family films like this in the future. This is our goal in the Broyden household. We've got 5 film companies in our house right now, all the way from 6 years old up to 17, and including myself. And the Lord's given us all these film ministries. So we want to make films that will cause people to become discerning, to understand what God's Word says and how to live it. We want to encourage with our films believers to follow the Lord, and with our films we want to reach the lost. We want to win souls for Christ, because that will last for eternity.